A very warm welcome to everyone gathered here today as we celebrate our Swachhta Saarthi Diwas. We will be beginning our event shortly now. And just before we start, I would request our participants, our audience to kindly keep yourselves on mute. And if you have any questions, please put your queries or anything or comments on the chat box. Now, I would like to hand it over to Dr. Bulbul Sood, who's our Senior Strategic Advisor for JPICO India Country Office. And ma'am, over to you, ma'am, to share the opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kritika, and namaskar and good evening, everyone. A very good evening to everyone and all the community health officers, PRI members from the 12 NISHTHA states, USAID and our NISHTHA and Unilever colleagues, other development partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of USAID supported NISHTHA program, I would like to welcome you all on the occasion of the Swachhta Saarthi Diwas, which is being conducted as a concluding event of the 21 days Friendship of Hygiene Challenge initiative. USAID's Health System Strengthening Project, NISHTHA, implemented by JPICO in collaboration with Unilever, is committed to promote healthy and hygiene behavior in primary healthcare setting. We aspire to reach and impact healthy hygiene behavior for improved health and well-being of the population by leveraging Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Center initiative of Government of India. As you are aware, together we had launched a 21 days Friends of Hygiene challenge to encourage the larger public and healthcare service providers, PRI members, and other partners to participate and further educate the communities to adopt and practice healthy hygiene habits over a period of 21 days. This was critical and very timely, especially since, as you all know, Omicron variant had just hit us, impacting families and communities across India. During this wave, provision of safe water, sanitation, and regular practice of healthy hygiene behaviors was both essential and critical for preventing and protecting human health. The prime focus of the 21 days Friends of Hygiene Challenge was on 5 key hygienic habits. First, hand washing with soap and water. Second, uses of safe and clean toilets. Third, use of safe drinking water. Fourth, wearing of masks. And fifth, very important, no public spitting. Through an on-ground participatory and demonstration activities, USAID's NISHTHA program attempted to shed more light on the importance of forming and sustaining these very important healthy hygiene habits. Over the course of 21 days, innovative messages have been deployed on COVID-appropriate wash behavior via social media that have reached many on the very importance of healthy hygiene behaviors. I'm very happy to share with all of you that USAID's NISHTHA social media handles were successful in reaching out to approximately 174,000 online audience between February 1st to 21st, and more than 700 on-ground sessions were conducted by community health officers to educate communities on the 5 healthy habits that I spoke about. Today, on the 21st day of the challenge, we are celebrating the efforts of the campaign, which is marked as a Swachhta Saarthi Diwas. We aim to highlight the importance of social and behavior change for communication and the need for multi-sectoral and collaborative effort for sustaining healthy hygiene behaviors. This event also aims to celebrate the endeavors of individuals and communities who have taken part in this 21-day long challenge and to urge them to continue making these habits an integral part of their lives. We are fortunate to have a galaxy of speakers, and I welcome all of them who would be sharing their views and experiences on this very important topic. I'd now like to invite Ms. Kritika Murali, Senior Documentation and Knowledge Management Officer, NISHTHA, to give an overview, purpose, and summary of the 21 days challenge. Over to you, NISHTHA. Kritika.
Thank you, ma'am. A warm welcome to everybody. I will be quickly taking you through the summary of the 21-day challenge. So the whole idea of the 21-day challenge was conceptualized largely for promoting healthy hygiene behaviors. Next slide, please. Yeah. So the larger idea is, so basically it is important that, especially given the COVID pandemic, we've had to highlight the importance of promoting and practicing these hygiene behaviors. These hygiene behaviors have really come up in the forefront and showed us that, by practicing some basic, simple hygiene behaviors, we can, defeat a lot of pandemics and also infectious diseases and can keep ourselves generally healthy. So with this concept, the idea that, it takes 21 days to form a habit. So keeping this larger concept in mind, we thought of having this, rolling out this 21-day challenge, wherein we'd be doing a series of activities and to create a community of Friends of Hygiene for a better protected India. So today we culminate the 21 days challenge of activities, which we started on Feb 1st, and we're celebrating today as a Swachhta Saarthi Diwas. Next slide, please. So what is the Friends of Hygiene? So what is the idea that we wanted to promote? We wanted to ensure that there is more awareness building, there is more knowledge about these hygiene practices, and also try to bring about some shift in behaviors and attitudes. Advocate these Friends of Hygiene as themselves are voices of change. So you, me, everyone, health workers, everyone can be a voice of change and can be a friend of hygiene. And the whole idea is to promote healthy hygiene habits. The next slide, please. So over the period of these 21 days, we promoted 5 different hygiene habits, which is washing your hands regularly, and then wearing a triple layer mask, and more about how do you discard the mask, and also what is the hygiene that you need to maintain after discarding the mask. Then sustained use of toilets and clean toilets. Then also importance of safe and clean drinking water and no spitting in public places. So these were the 5 habits that we promoted over a period of 21 days. So what did we do? What was the challenge about? So the whole idea was we invited everyone to practice and promote these hygiene behaviors. As you can see, we had created a roadmap of this, all these practices. So wherein, each day we had done some activity or the other, which involved different aspects, such as, not only practicing and promoting, also share the good deed that you've done, take your selfies, share it on social media. And we also developed a lot of creatives that, people could use not only on social media, but as well as on ground, which were used by all our community health officers, our PRI groups, to again create more awareness in the communities. We are, of course, in the age of social media and technologies. So we created, a mashup reel, which is basically a mashup of the COVID-19 caller tune, which kind of, again, brought in the importance of, practicing this hygiene behaviors and inviting people to take part in this challenge. And then with the support of all our teams and all our on-ground CHOs and PRI members and partners like all of you, we were able to make this campaign viral. Yeah, next. So these are like a few snapshots of what we did. We had this contest of, Swachhta selfie, which we reminded everyone to, not only practice, take the photo and, put it up and share it widely so that you can motivate others also to practice this behavior. And what you see on the left is also like a Instagram reel that we created. You can go to our Insta page and check out this interesting reel. And using this reel, many of them also kind of, created some of their own videos and which was again publicized on social media. We also began this whole session with an interactive Insta live session with an influencer, RJ Swati, who urged the public to also, practice these behaviors. Next slide, please. So this was not largely, though we publicized it mostly on online mode and through digital media, but most of our efforts were complemented on ground by our CHOs, by the PRI group. So here what you can see is some of the creative ways in which our Friends of Hygiene engaged in the campaign. They created these memes, they kind of created all these interactive job aids and the awareness materials which were taken up in the field. And also there were a lot of people who kind of pushed others to practice these behaviors. Yeah, next slide, please. So what have we achieved? So we've had more than 700 on-site sessions on promoting hygiene behaviors over a period of 21 days. These were done by CHOs across our 12 intervention states, and our online reach has been more than 173,000. Yeah. And now today we are at the end of this campaign. So what we would like to now do is we would like to show you a small short video which takes you through the glimpses of our campaign. Yeah, next. Over to you, Dr. Bulbul.
Thank you very much, Kritika, for sharing that, what was done in the 21 days challenge. And we definitely have created lots of Friends of Hygiene. And I'm happy to see there were a lot of young kids who were there in the photograph. So I think they are going to be the one who will be sustaining this program for a long, long time. And now I would like to invite Dr. Anuradha Jain to speak about the multi-stakeholder and cross-sectoral approach for promoting healthy hygiene. Dr. Anuradha Jain is Technical Advisor, Health System Strengthening at USAID, and has been providing strategic oversight to USAID's largest health system strengthening portfolio, and also USAID's COVID-19 pandemic response support for India. USAID has joined forces with the Hygiene and Behavior Change Coalition to transform lives through hygiene. The coalition is a task force of 21 charities, 2 UN organizations, and 1 academic partner. USAID is also working to improve wash access for households, schools, and businesses. Since 2008, USAID partnership has resulted in more than 53 million people gaining access to and improved water services. Over to you, Anuradha.
Thank you, Dr. Sood. Sorry, maybe your voice is muffled or I wasn't able to hear. So I decided to put my headphones. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. Am I audible? I'm sorry, I'm rechecking. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you, Anuradha. Yes,
Thank
please.
you. Thank you, Nishtha and Unilever team. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. As I speak to you today, the statistics that I have in front of me inform me that 3 out of every 10 people have a lack, of access to safe drinking water. There are 3 billion people who do not have basic hand washing facilities available. About 6 in 10 people lack access to proper sanitation. And as we talk, it is it is no news to us that water has been the cause of rift between many countries, many states within India. So with the lack of water services, everybody knows that there are wars, there are tensions between communities, nations. There is loss of resilience that happen. There is increased fragility that happens. And I think nobody across the world would ever expect that a shared resource like water, air, should cause any conflict or rift between the communities. And so, using these common shared resources is a responsibility that should be practiced by all of us with utmost responsibility. And we should all come together as a society and as communities to take care of it. The 21-day challenge that NISHTHA is doing with Unilever, it's an on-ground campaign with health workers and communities. And there are influencers who are working towards this successful campaign. But what I would like to add, which probably, you must have seen in the video that that Kritika just now showed. But the most important part of this whole story is that for a country like India, hand washing and cleaning yourself or hygiene, self hygiene, was something which was always there as part of our traditional values. And we never had dearth of water in the societies where people had to be taught how to hand wash. But with the increasing crisis of water, with increasing urbanization, I think those cultural values, with the lack of water and sanitation that is happening, and the lack of cultural values that is happening, so it's both the demand and supply side which is becoming problematic, because of which I think this reinforcing through 21 days of messaging that NISHTHA Unilever program is doing is very, very important. And I think it is across the board that such reinforcement through messaging of this kind is required at this point of time, and especially in the urban areas. Now, the topic that I have been given is, multi-stakeholder. Why do they need to come together? So, as an anecdote, I would like to say, when in small villages in India, there are marriages or functions, each person in the village would have a role to play. And that's the shared value that you have in a village. The same shared value is something that each of us, as government partners, as NGOs, civil society bodies, academic institute, training institute, we all share. And we come together, we bring those insights, we bring those learnings, we bring those trends on the table. And that's how the multi-stakeholder becomes an important area, which is not only in the sanitation but for any other area of intervention. It is very important. So, for example, when we are working, and NISHTHA is well known for its work for CPHC, the comprehensive primary health care. There are funders, there are resource partners, there are private sector partners, there are NGOs that have come together to share their learnings and to bring resources together to support the cause of comprehensive primary care as part of a CPHC alliance. Similarly, USAID is supporting multiple such alliances when it comes to WASH and when it comes to hygiene. So there is something known as a Safe Water Network Alliance that USAID is supporting, and this provides access to safe drinking water to people at bottom of the pyramid and creates a viable marketplace for sustainable, affordable, decentralized water treatment and sale. So the idea here is that there is an existing market, and there is somebody that needs to sustain it for a while, provide those resources, and then it takes off by itself. So once this kind of alliances and network come into being, those resources can be made available for sustainability of such ideas and such values that are existing in the market. Similarly, a toilet board coalition platform is something that USAID is supporting. And this is a business-led partnership again, and the platform addresses sanitation crisis by accelerating sanitation economies. So, this kind of support that we have is bringing some of those practices to be sustained in the market, which usually otherwise would not get scaled up, would not be feasible for a long sustainable time. Similarly, USAID is also supporting something known as a WASH finance platform. So financing, and especially innovative financing in the sector of WASH, is something new. And USAID continues to unlock private sector resources to support the government of India and address priority like water sanitation and WASH issues. And the innovative and vibrant private sector provides that opportunity to leverage private capital and corporate resources to kind of bring or nurture the innovations that are there in the market. It supports the small and medium enterprises to increase the delivery of social services. And this is being managed by Intellicap in the country for USAID. And we have several such alliances, and the purpose of the alliances are different. The purpose of all these stakeholders are different. But the bottom line remains that each organization has strength. We cannot work in siloed. Resources for shared values like water sanitation are required in a very, very large amount. And I'm not talking about just financial resources, talking about intellectual resources, financial, human resource, everything. And thus, multiple different stakeholders need to come together with their strength to support these shared values. So with that, I would end and hand it over to Dr. Bulbul Sood. Thank you again for giving me this opportunity to bring the importance of multi-stakeholder in front of everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anuradha. And I think you have beautifully brought out the fact that if we want to make these changes, we have to work together and not work in silos. And you have to reinforce the simple message of WASH, which we sometimes take it for granted. And but these are very important, because as everybody knows that almost 60 to 70% of infections can be taken care of by just practicing these simple habits that we sometimes underestimate. So again, thank you very much for the support that USAID has provided for this initiative. Now I'm going to ask my next panelist, Mr. Atul Singh, Vice President, CSR at IMAMI, to share his views. IMAMI Group is in quest for inclusive growth, implements WASH as a critical component of social health program and community sanitation program. Mr. Singh was awarded the CSR Leader of the Year Award at the India International CSR and Impact Award of 2020. He would be speaking on the role of private sector for promoting healthy hygiene behavior. Over to you, Atul.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sood. Pleasure for me to be speaking on this platform and pleasure to share the dais with everyone. Talking about Imami, the kind of work that we have done in the field of WASH. Well, what we have done is we have a very robust and extensive school support program. This school support program basically is into education support, scholarship support, financial assistance support to the less privileged from students from low socioeconomic background. So as part of the school support program, we also have a WASH intervention where historically we've been helping schools to build their toilets and to make wash basins and to kind of work on menstrual hygiene and to work on hand washing facilities. So there's a lot of hard infrastructure support that has happened in the past as far as we are concerned. However, our learnings and our experiences have told us that the hard infrastructure support, if not maintained, will not be of any use, because I think the schools used to struggle, let's say, maintaining toilets, to find a cleaner, to pay the salary for the cleaner, to have a water source, a continuous water source, and to have recurring supply of soap. Often we see them mixing water, so we give them a kind of liquid soap, and to save money they put water and dilute the whole thing, and they have a recurring problem in terms of taking care of the expenses. So what we have done is that we've got a shift now taking place from a capex to an opex model, where we have been giving a lot of infrastructure support in terms of building toilets, so on and so forth. However, what we have realized is the need for an opex model. So capex to opex is where we are now trying to help them with recurring expenses of soap, water, source, maintenance, cleaners, so on and so forth. So this is what our experience has been, though we have been working with not many number of schools, because we have a system of first piloting a project in a pilot location. We have a place in Haripal in Hooghly district of Kolkata, of West Bengal, where there's like a pilot hub where we experiment, we innovate. Mrs. Jain spoke about innovation. Yes, we do innovation. We test the model as a proof of concept, and only after a model is successful, we scale up across the country. As you know, Imami being a manufacturing organization, FMCG organization, we've got factories across the country, and any successful model that we implement, we test, we demonstrate the result, we scale up in the factory locations. So our learning has been, more of software and less of hardware, where, a lot of these hardware that we have given has not been maintained. So a lot of training is required right from the teacher level to the student level, to the parent level, to the community level. So a lot of, training, capacity building, behavior change. Okay. We spoke about 21, days to change a habit. Well, I think behavior is a far longer project where it takes some time to change the behavior of the community. So like I said, we have been, working on certain models in the past, which is to do with post-COVID. During COVID, unfortunately, the school support program has not been happening so well because the schools have been closed. So we've been doing digital literacy program and all that. However, the schools now gradually opening up on the basis of the learnings that we've had in the past. Now, of course, we'll have a transition from CapEx to OpEx, from hardware to software. That's the first point. The second point I have to make here is, being a private sector organization, we have a huge reach and penetration across the country. We've got our, distributor network, we've got our suppliers, our vendors, our factories, our locations. So I think a lot of platforms are available. The penetration and reach of corporates, of the private sector, can be leveraged, by the industry to be able to reach out to the community at the grassroots level, at the bottom of the pyramid. And this is where we've been trying to kind of reach out to the underserved area, where, very, very difficult to reach out under normal circumstances. We've got the locational advantage, and the geography is favoring us in terms of reaching out through our presence in those areas, because we've got factories and we've got various kind of facilities available. So we can use private sector organizations and penetrate the reach to have, this facility, we can have more of accessibility as far as these interventions are concerned. I spoke about, the role of a private sector in terms of creating good innovative models, and where we can bring into the table, our expertise, our innovation, our technology, our management expertise, our governance standards, and devise a model. Okay. However, like I said, we are no experts in terms of this industry. We are a hardcore business. And from a business perspective, the one thing that we have realized that is very, very important to earn profit. However, profit is not the only motive of a business. We all need oxygen to breathe, but oxygen doesn't become the purpose of our existence. We don't exist to breathe. We exist for a cause, a purpose, a vision. And this is where organizations are now adopting the triple bottom line, where apart from profit, they're focusing on planet and people. And this is where through a very focused triple bottom line approach, we are trying to integrate CSR strategy into the business strategy from a long-term business sustainability perspective. So these are some very, very important insights. And the fourth point is about community participation, having a more of an inclusive approach as far as our interventions are concerned. Our school support program takes into the umbrella school headmasters, teachers, students, parents, the entire community. So this whole inclusivity as far as the entire model is what we are also using in WASH, where, right from the students to the teachers. In fact, unfortunately, even the teachers have to be told not to spit, not to have gutka, and not to, kind of spit the gutka on the walls of the school. So this is where, the intervention has to kind of start from the headmaster level, teacher level, student level, parents level, and then the community. And we are actually working with the first generation students. And most of our interventions are for the first generation students, where we are trying to make students as the change agents so that they can inculcate a change, a culture, a habit. And they can be the so-called change agents of the society or the catalyst of change. And this is how we are trying to work. Once again, though in terms of a very extensive model, not much of scale is happening. However, I think we've done decent work at the ground level, and as and when required, we scale it up, across the country. Talking about collaboration, once again, we are happy to collaborate. Right now, unfortunately, how the CSR or the corporate world they are functioning is they are focusing more into the business in terms of ensuring that the business is running at a profit, because there's a concept of shareholder value versus multi-stakeholder value. So right now, each and every corporate has a responsibility to earn enough profit for the shareholders. But apart from that, from a multi-stakeholder perspective, there is also responsibility towards the community. And I spoke about the triple bottom line a couple of minutes back. And this is where, a whole kind of culture change is happening in organization. And for example, right now we are working on the ESG reporting. ESG reporting has been made compulsory from the next financial year, and organizations are into a lot of sustainability metrics in this, these parameters, and they're working on a lot of sustainability reports, business responsibility reports. So I think it's the step in the right direction. The new CSR legislation has also been very interesting for corporates to adopt and to have a more strategic approach as far as CSR is concerned, to be able to, do projects, at the impact level. And no longer, donation or charity is the buzzword. Right now, it's strategic CSR, and organizations have to do good projects at hand. Last but not the least, my point is about, the fact that, there is a need of, a huge collaborative approach. And I spoke about collaborations. However, like I said, we as a business, we do not have the expertise or the competency or the technology sometimes to be able to do a meaningful work at the ground level. And this is where we are kind of trying to collaborate with like-minded partners. I'm so sorry, calls coming in between. Okay. This is where we have to collaborate and work at the ground, work at the level which is required to be able to make a difference. Social impact is like not possible to create social impact in a year or two. So this is where we need to work, with the entire ecosystem, work with multiple stakeholders, work with various, people at the ground level, and come out with a model where each one of us, we have a role to play. And of course, through our, various level of intervention that we are doing, and through our learnings and through our experiences and through our various kind of, findings that we have, I'm sure we'll be able to work together in a far more collaborative environment and make a difference as far as WASH is concerned. Unfortunately, right now, as I said, CSR is not focusing too much on WASH, unfortunately, across the country. There's a lot of interventions happening in health and education and scholarships, though it is falling under the health bracket, but WASH specific interventions are very, very few. And this is where, corporates look at some, low hanging fruits in terms of quick wins. This COVID gave us the opportunity to kind of, work into vaccination programs, hygiene programs, school sanitization program. However, from a longer term perspective, I think it's imperative to work in this direction to have a healthy society for the future. And this is where we are willing to work, together and try and make a difference in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Atul. I think you have really nicely brought out the fact that if we want to make an impact in our country, we have to have a longish kind of, association, collaboration as we go forward, bringing the innovative ideas. And I know the corporate sector has several innovative ideas, but we have to scale up also. There's you are not going to achieve if you do it at 100 villages. You have to. There are 150, 1,000 villages that we have to work in. So I think the more people come in together, we will be able to make the changes, and really look forward to your, guidance and collaboration, and going forward, looking at the CAPEX to OPEX model. And to my mind, the best is that, you're working with the young minds. They are the biggest change agent. And in fact, experience have shown that child-to-child program and child are the best teacher, even to the parents and older people. So, look forward to working with you and collaborating going forward. Thank you very much. Our next panelist is Ms. Vidya Raghavan. She's CEO of the New Concept Center for Development Communication and Senior Resource Member of the SBCC Tarang Hub. Vidya has been working on WASH-related communication issues for more than 3 decades with various UN agencies, international NGOs, and has also been actively involved in developing SBCC strategies on various aspects of health, nutrition, and WASH. Vidya would be sharing her views on power of social behavior change communication for adoption of healthy hygiene behavior. Over to you, Vidya.
Thank you, Dr. Bulbul Sood. Nice to meet you after a very long time, and good evening all. And thanks, NISHTHA and Unilever team for giving me this opportunity to present our, share our learning experiences in terms of WASH and social and behavior change. I like the way you've named the power of SBCC in adopting healthy hygiene behaviors. That shows already how important SBCC is in this 21 days Friends of Hygiene campaign. That SBCC is one of the most important components, I think, is already well established, and it is definitely more so in the health hygiene related ones. And of course, the present pandemic, as other speakers have already pointed out, has only further accentuated the need for promoting and sustaining healthy hygiene behaviors. So be it hand washing with soap or toilet use, or not spitting in public, or safe drinking water, I think they all contribute to overall improvement in our health indicators. And I think these are behaviors which are not so difficult to practice, and they prevent, they are for disease prevention and health promotion both. These are all evidence-based behaviors. So, of course, maybe except wearing a mask, which may be a little more specific to COVID in these out of these 5 that are being promoted. But as far as our experience in terms of using SBCC for experiencing actually the power of SBCC in changing and sustaining behaviors, I would like to briefly touch upon one of the methods that we found. Of course, all methods, multi-pronged strategies we use, but the group communication sessions, holding group communication sessions for as a very important, we felt that it was a very effective and even cost-effective method at the community level, as we, in partnership with UNICEF, from 2009 to 2012, we engaged with community members in more than 1,000 villages of Lalitpur district. We conducted 5,500 communication sessions, and these were using the Amma Ji Kehti Hain videos If we all remember that there was a 500 episode series on Doordarshan, which was aired by UNICEF, called Kyunki Jeena Isi Ka Naam Hai. These episodes were culled out as group communication videos for conducting IPC and group communication sessions. And healthy hygiene behaviors, sanitation, hygiene behaviors were well covered. So starting with the group communication facilitators who were selected from these very villages, we started with a 5-day intense training program. And there we made sure that these facilitators first adopt and are convinced that these behaviors are important and should be adopted, and also convince them in turn to make sure that their families also adopt these behaviors. So that's how this process started. And of course, conducting these sessions with the active involvement of ASHAs, Anganwadi workers, PRIs, SHG members, and SMC, school management committee members, wherever we found them active, adolescent girls groups, and other key influencers, community leaders. Very effectively, these sessions contributed. We did face a lot of barriers, such as, if you wash your hands with soap before having food, the taste of food gets spoiled. And then also things like we don't have that much water, because Bundelkhand region, as we all know, is water is not so easily available, and summers can really get difficult. So, and where are we going to get water and soap everywhere when we are working in the field, etc., etc. So we did come up with local solutions with the help of our own field team members there, and constantly handholding them, supporting them on dealing with such questions and issues. And finally, what we saw through change mapping and sharing of success stories, that we went to the next level of behavior adoption to demand generation. They did start, Mr. Atul was mentioning about schools not functional, having functional toilets or other facilities, even though you've created the structures. So we did see the next level was that they started demanding that Anganwadi centers should have functional toilets and should have, the schools should have, and both Anganwadi centers and schools should have functional toilets, hand washing with soap facilities should be available. So these were things which similar experience we had in a DFID supported initiative in 15 high burden districts of Odisha and 8 of Madhya Pradesh, respectively called Shaktivarta and Sanchi Sehat, where again we use the self-help group platforms for and using PLA as a tool for engaging with these people. Again, healthy hygiene behaviors were very, very important part of these conversations, where again we saw not only the self-help group members adopting the behaviors and further these behaviors percolating to the family level, but community members, next level we saw our community members actively got engaged, and in all the functions like, be it a wedding or birthday function or whatever, annaprashan, they ensured that hand washing with soap facility was available. Even in the SHG group meetings, if snacks were being served, they made sure that soap and water was available for washing hands. So that was this thing. And also PRI members and other community structures got involved in escalating when they were not able to make structures functional. They were trying to at least take up such issues with the BDO and even sometimes with the district magistrate. So these were what I do. I would say that when you engage with various levels, when we talk of socio-ecological models, from individual to family to community level, then moving to institutional and other program implementation and policy level of the socio-ecological models that we talk about. On the one hand, we want individual families, communities to adopt and sustain behaviors. On the other hand, we also need structures in place, again, like Mr. Atul talked about it. I would say that now Anganwadi centers and schools have reopened. I just visited, just barely 10 days ago, I was visiting a tribal district, would not like to name the state because the situation may be very similar in various other states as well. I visited more than half a dozen elementary schools, and none of the toilets were cleaned up, water was not available. There were nice drinking water tap units were available, but there was no water to drink. There was no water supply. And also in one of the schools where midday meal was just going to be served when we reached, I saw the teacher requesting the students to go and wash their hands, and they all ran outside the school. And I was wondering why they were running outside the school, because obviously water was not available. They went to a nearby hand pump and washed their hands. Of course, there was no soap. They all came and ate. So we need to, I feel, just to conclude, I would like to say here that we need to ensure now the urgent need is to ensure SBCC efforts at this level to, the program implementation and the other structures starting from PRNs, to work very closely with them and ensure that these structures are in place, because children are our citizens of tomorrow. It is very important that we inculcate these habits, right? Anganwadi centers, schools, and now with the new education, the education policy also is trying to integrate centers within the school premises. So we have to create an enabling environment for these children to practice these behaviors, and we have to invest in larger SBCC efforts to make it happen. And of course, we have to continue our efforts, interpersonal communication, group communication, using social media as a very effective platform for sharing success stories and change stories. So I would urge that we look at this aspect, all donors and implementers look at this aspect very closely. And I would end this thing with the request that this SBCC Tarang Hub, I'll put the link on chat. We are offering 2 free courses, which are both available in Hindi and English. One is a foundation course, and another one is a social inclusion and SBCC course. And I would like you all to share it with all colleagues and partners, that CSO partners that you're all working with. We also have a paid M&E, monitoring and evaluation course on SBCC, which is a paid course only in English, but the other 2 free courses we would encourage, they are UNICEF certified courses, would encourage that it is widely shared. Thank you all again for giving me this opportunity and your patient listening.
Thank you very much, Vidya, for sharing your thoughts. And as you said correctly, that you have to create the enabling environment for people to practice the changes that we want them to. So having, and even Atul said in the beginning, creating a toilet is easy, but to ensure that there's running water, there's soap, and it's kept clean. A very important part is, if it is not there, people will not use it. And and thanks for sharing. We will share the Tarang material, the course details with all our CHO colleagues, and we ensure that they try to do those courses also, which will help them further. I think this really builds in very well with our next speaker, Dr. Yogesh Kumar, who is the Executive Director of Samarthan Center for Development Support. He is internationally known for his expertise in participatory planning, training, action research, and participatory governance. Samarthan is a partner of USAID-NISHTHA program, and in partnership with Unilever, we are implementing a model on micro-resource mapping and demonstrating cost-effective partnership in Chhattisgarh. Dr. Yogesh is going to be speaking about importance of community engagement in sustained behavior change, which we are all looking for, and some of the lessons learned. So over to you, Yogesh.
Thank you, Bulbulji, and distinguished panelists who have spoken so well. Very little needs to be said now. And thank you, NISTHA, for organizing the campaign. And we are proud to be partners in Chhattisgarh. So Samarthan has been working over the last 25 years in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh to promote participatory development and participatory governance. There are a large number of participants in the interest of their interest and sustenance. I will also mix some of the Hindi, which is my mother tongue also. So that will be helpful. So as you rightly said, the challenge is, I think the previous speakers has also mentioned that the larger challenge is how to sustain. जो ये कैंपेन चला 21 दिन का, ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण था. मुझे लगता है कि जिस तरह समुदाय के लोगों ने टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग करके इतने सुंदर मैसेजेस को डाला और ये दिखाया कि ये जो डिजिटल डिवाइड है जो रूरल और अर्बन को अलग कर रही है और अर्बन को कहीं आगे बढ़ने का मौका दे रही है, उसका इतना अच्छा उपयोग किया. और मुझे लगता है दैट इज ए वेरी मोटिवेटिंग मोमेंट फॉर मी, दैट दे आर नॉट टू बी लेफ्ट बिहाइंड as far as the digital revolution is concerned, and therefore the use of technology was one of the, I would say, USP of the campaign. Now, how do we sustain is important if the behaviors, if we assume that the behaviors have been stabilized, habits have been formed. तो ये जो आदत डालने के 21 दिन हुए हैं, उसको कैसे हम लंबे समय तक ले जाएं. और पिछले हमारे कई वक्ताओं ने इस पे बातचीत रखी और कहा कि अगर व्यवस्थाएं नहीं होंगी तो वो बिहेवियर सस्टेन नहीं करेगा. वो बात ठीक है बिल्कुल. छत्तीसगढ़ में लगभग अगर देखा जाए तो 50,000 ऐसे स्कूल हैं जो छोटे बच्चों के लिए हैं, प्राथमिक हैं या माध्यमिक हैं. और 50,000 स्कूलों में अगर हम सोचते हैं कि हैंड बिहेवियर प्रैक्टिसेस, हैंड वॉशिंग प्रैक्टिसेस चालू रहें, जैसा विजया जी ने भी कहा, तो और हर जगह अगर 5 साबुन की भी आवश्यकता होती है तो पूरे प्रदेश में हर महीने कम से कम 2.5 लाख साबुन की व्यवस्था करनी पड़ेगी. तो वो प्राइवेट सेक्टर से आए या सरकार के संसाधनों से आए, लेकिन अगर वो व्यवस्था नहीं होगी, नलों में पानी नहीं होगा, जल जीवन मिशन के अंतर्गत लगने वाले नलों में पानी नहीं होगा, स्वच्छ भारत मिशन के अंतर्गत बने शौचालय ठीक से काम नहीं करेंगे, तो वो सस्टेन नहीं करेगा बिहेवियर. इसलिए आवश्यकता है कि हमें ये देखना पड़ेगा कि कौन से ऐसे लोकल इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं जिनके माध्यम से हम इसको सस्टेन करें. सो इट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट टू ट्रस्ट एंड बिल्ड कैपेसिटीज ऑफ द लोकल इंस्टीट्यूशंस, एंड देयर आर मेनी important institutions which have been mentioned in our discussion, and Panchayati Raj institutions are extremely important. They are the local governments constitutionally mandated for economic development and social justice. And if you look at the functions, water, sanitation, health is one of the primary functions they are supposed to do. And wherever panchayats have taken responsibility, and we have seen during the time of COVID that panchayat, along with the field functionaries of various departments, were the only available workforce for the people during the time of pandemic, and therefore they are extremely important and they need to be strengthened. तो इसलिए पंचायतों के बिना कुछ भी करना बहुत मुश्किल होगा, और पंचायतों को अगर इस बिहेवियर को सस्टेन करने की जिम्मेदारी देनी है तो उनके जो सहयोगी इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, खासतौर से बचत समूह, एक बड़ी संख्या में सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स जो बने हैं जिसमें महिलाएं हैं और पानी और स्वच्छता और बच्चों के व्यवहार परिवर्तन के लिए वो महत्वपूर्ण कड़ी हैं, उनको जोड़ने की आवश्यकता होगी. और साथ में स्कूलों में बनी स्कूल मैनेजमेंट कमिटीज, आंगनवाड़ी भवनों के लिए बनाई गई महतारी समितियां छत्तीसगढ़ जैसे राज्यों में, और मदर्स कलेक्टिव्स, they will be extremely important. We need to look at the local community institutions to take responsibility of sustaining these behavior. Only then we can upscale, because panchayat is available in every village. Gram Sabha is available in every village. Once they will take responsibility, things will change. So one important thing is that the framework for planning, which is called GPDP, the Gram Panchayat Development Plan, is an instrument that needs to be activated, where a comprehensive planning is taking place, where the programs of various kinds, MG and REGS, which is for the water security, promotion of safety net for the poor is there. It is important to be integrated. Swachh Bharat Mission, which has resources for managing the wastewater, we need to bring in their resources. We have the 15th Finance Commission. The money is coming directly to the panchayats for maintaining water, sanitation, and wastewater. All this, if we will not be able to converge, howsoever we may try, we will not be able to achieve these large goals. The large goals will depend on efficient use of resources rather than overlapping or making different planning cycles for each of the programs. We have to break these silos, at least at the panchayat level. We may do it at the department level, but at the panchayat level, we'll have to break these silos and look at the larger objective of change in the health and behavior. इसलिए आवश्यक है, मैं फिर से कहूँगा, स्थानीय निकायों और स्थानीय निकायों की संस्थाओं को साथ में लेना और स्थानीय नेतृत्व को आगे बढ़ाना, जो इस व्यवहार परिवर्तन को ला सकता है. मैं कुछ उदाहरण बताऊं आपको. ऐसे उदाहरण है छत्तीसगढ़ और मध्य प्रदेश में, जहां पर स्कूल मैनेजमेंट कमेटी ने जिम्मेदारी ली और अपने यहाँ पर अपनी स्कूल के टॉयलेट्स की क्लीनिंग की, पानी की व्यवस्था को मैनेज किया. गांव के एक बच्चे, एक नवयुवक को रखा जिसने वहां पर सफाई की व्यवस्था की. पेरेंट्स से कुछ पैसा इकट्ठा हुआ, टीचर्स जो 8 घंटे वहां पर लगाते उन्होंने भी पैसा दिया, तब ये व्यवस्था चली. इसी तरह से बहुत जगहों पर वाटर मैनेजमेंट कमिटीज ने जिम्मेदारी ली. जहां जहां पर पाइप वाटर सप्लाई सिस्टम्स बने हैं, उन कमिटीज ने पंचायत के माध्यम से टैक्सेशन किया वाटर के लिए. जो पैसा इकट्ठा आ रहा है उससे पंप ऑपरेटर की कॉस्ट देते हैं, क्योंकि सारा कुछ अगर हम ये सोचें कि सरकार के संसाधन से चलेगा तो समाज नहीं चलता है. समाज अपने संसाधनों से चलता है और समाज जब जिम्मेदारी लेता है तो वहां की व्यवस्थाएं अपने हाथ में लेकर वो उसको चलाने की कोशिश करते हैं, बिकॉज दे हैव द हाईएस्ट स्टेक, and once they take ownership, then these things sustain. We have pipe water supply systems in many of the villages which are sustained by the local institutions over the last 15 years, and we have not visited over a long period of time, and they are managing it. So there are solutions with the community, but we have to take into consideration that they are extremely important and they have to be taken into account. So I said planning is important and people have to be engaged in it, and once they are involved in planning, then the monitoring. Once they start monitoring the services, they become more responsible. With the feedback, things improve a lot. And then impact assessment, and therefore social audits with the people, whether the services provided are actually functional or not, they are extremely important. All this will lead to behavior change. And therefore, post-campaign is like a marriage. Like when the event is over, when the celebration is over, we need to get back to clean the environment. We need to reflect on that how do we sustain the gains, and therefore we are committed to do that in Chhattisgarh and many other places. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Over to Bulbulji.
Thank you very much, Yogesh. And you have said post-marriage, now we have to ensure that the marriage continues. And you rightly said that आपने जैसे कहा कि local community में बहुत सारे institutions हैं जिनको मिलके जुड़ के काम करना होगा, and they'll have to take responsibility for making sure that what they want, actually it's not we, it is they, it is important for them, and accountability भी लानी होगी. तो अब आज की डेट में बहुत सारे different programs हैं जिसमें you'll find कि हर एक में wash और sanitation और hygiene और इसके बारे में बात की जाती है, but they have to be all brought together and implemented in a cohesive manner. So thank you very much. Now I'm going to request Kritika to take over and facilitate the champions and also ask them to share their experiences during this 21 days of campaign. Over to you, Kritika.
Thank you, ma'am. I would request everyone to kindly bear with us for a few more minutes. I know we have overshot our time, but we've come to a very important part where we are going to be having, these champions. So we'll be felicitating these champions. So I would request the team to please put it on full screen. Yeah. So we are happy to announce that of all, we've had a lot of participation from our community health officers. This has been a very difficult decision for us to, to bring it down to 3 people. So without any further delay, I'd like to announce the 3 Friends of Hygiene who have participated the most and also come up with a lot of creative needs. Yeah, can we go to the next, please? Yeah. So these are our 3 champion Friends of Hygiene. We have Ms. Sameti Mirda from Chhattisgarh, Ms. Mercy from Jharkhand, and Ms. Uzma Khan from Madhya Pradesh. Can we please take it to the next slide? Yeah, and this is just a snapshot of the different CHOs and PRI members who have participated across our 12 intervention states. So huge round of applause to all of them as well. And thanks a lot for participating actively in this campaign. Now, we would like to hear a few words from our champion CHOs. So I would like to invite Mercy from Jharkhand to please share her experiences. Mercy, you can begin.
Yeah. Good evening, all. Am I audible, ma'am?
हाँ हम सुन सकते हैं, आप बोलिए मर्सी.
Okay,
हम सुन
ma'am.
सकते हैं.
Good evening, all. I'm Mercy Grace Kachchap, working as Community Health Officer at SWC Moko Baliapur, Dhanbad. First, I would like to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to share my experience of 21-day challenge with you all. During this campaign, I enjoyed a lot while teaching community children and adults. I could see their happy faces filled with excitement every day. And love your community as you love yourself is the key for me to get connected with everyone and to help them to learn about health and wellness. During this campaign, I visited door to door and met community members and explained them about simple techniques of hygiene behaviors. I also experienced the power of social media, like the campaign and how they connected all of us through Twitter and Facebook activities update. So yeah, I would like to end my message by saying that I will continue to provide information to my community members to ensure a healthier community in future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mercy, for sharing that. Now I would like to invite Sameti ji to please share a few words.
Good evening, respected sir, respected ma'am. मैं समिति में था SWC तुरेंगा, जिला महासमुंद, छत्तीसगढ़. आज 21 फरवरी 2022 को हम स्वच्छता सारथी दिवस मना रहे हैं. इस अभियान में हमने पूरे 21 दिनों तक समुदाय के सदस्यों के साथ रहकर अलग अलग 5 स्वच्छता आदतों के बारे में उनको जानकारी दिया और इसमें स्कूल के बच्चे, बुजुर्ग और आंगनबाड़ी के छोटे बच्चे लोग भी शामिल थे. ये 5 आदतें हैं: नियमित हाथों की सफाई करना 6 स्टेप में, नियमित स्वच्छ जल का उपयोग करना और कोरोना के बचाव से बचने के लिए नियमित मास्क का उपयोग करना, नियमित शौचालय का उपयोग करना और सार्वजनिक स्थान पर न थूकने के बारे में हमने पोस्टर के माध्यम से, नारे के माध्यम से लोगों को जागरूक किया. इस अभियान के माध्यम से हमने लोगों को हाथ धोने के विभिन्न चरणों के बारे में भी जानकारी प्रदान की. और हमारे हेल्थ वेलनेस सेंटर में पूरे 21 दिनों तक नियमित गतिविधियों का आयोजन होता रहा और इससे समुदाय के सदस्यों को विभिन्न स्वास्थ्य और जागरूकता सत्रों में भाग लेने में मदद मिली। आज हमें सर्वश्रेष्ठ प्रदर्शन करने वाले सीएचओ के रूप में चुनने के लिए आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। साथ ही हम इस तरह के कई और अवसर प्राप्त करने की आशा करते हैं। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, Samiti ji. Now I'd like to invite Uzma Khan. Uzma Khan, up
Yes.
from Madhya Pradesh.
Thank you, ma'am, for inviting me in this platform. Good evening, everyone. My name is Uzma, and I'm appointed as a community health officer at SWC Surtalai, Madhya Pradesh. From last 21 days, I'm regularly participating in 21 days challenge to communicate 5 healthy hygiene behaviors to the community members. This campaign was really engaging since the beginning and motivated me to conduct many different learning sessions at our SWC Surtalai. In the times of COVID-19, we have realized that it is very important to take care of our hygiene. It acts as a first line of defense against many infections. In this community, I really enjoyed working with the women and children as well spiritly to bring a change. I thank USAID-NISHTHA for providing me this opportunity. We all should keep on doing the campaign like this so we all can participate and exchange our ideas. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Uzma. That is very nice to share your experiences, and thanks to all the community health officers who have actively participated. With this, we come towards the end. Before I hand it over to Dr. Somesh, I would like to take us through a pledge. As we know that we've started this 21-day campaign, with the whole concept of following a habit for 21 days. However, it is important that this is not just for 21 days, it goes beyond that. So this is just a start of, and ensuring the sustained practice of healthy behaviors. Next slide, please. Yeah. So I would request everyone to join us in taking this pledge that, as we come to the close of this 21-day challenge, let us really take the pledge to take this forward and practice and promote these hygiene behaviors for better health outcomes. These are useful not only for the current COVID times, but also in, defeating future infectious diseases that come our way. So, yeah. And now I would like to hand over to Dr. Somesh Kumar, who's a country director of JPIGO, to please kindly share the reflections from the campaign and learnings. Be ahead.
Thank you, Kritika. I'll take not more than a minute. It's been a very enriching session. Mostly excited by the participation from our CHOs, the leadership from our CHOs, and thank you from core bottom of our heart to everyone who presented, the CHOs, but also who could not present because there were a lot of submissions and who have participated. I understand more than 700 on-ground sessions have happened. So that's a large number in these 21 days, and also understand more than 170,000 social media connects have happened for this campaign over the last 21 days. So it's a pretty intense campaign that has happened, and huge congratulations to everybody associated. Thanks everybody, and especially the speakers. I'll not name them in the interest of time, but thanks to all the expert speakers who have participated. And as we know that behavior change is a starting point. The key here is to sustain behaviors in our communities and change the norm so that it becomes our second nature. So with these closing words, we would close this campaign with this session today, and with the pledge that Kritika said, we sustain this movement and initiative going forward in partnerships with our communities and all our stakeholders. Thank you so much.